So, today we're going to be diving into a conversation that every woman who's ever tried everything needs to hear, that you can't diet your way out of the food noise. So, yeah, a lot of people or a lot of women still are trying to do this. More rules, more restriction, more starting over on Mondays, and the food noise only gets louder. And why is that? Because food obsession isn't just about willpower, it's about healing. So it's not that you are undisciplined, it's not that you are inconsistent, it's not that you are failing. You're just operating from old emotional and subconscious patterns that were never addressed. And no diet in the world can fix what is rooted in your nervous system. So let me ask you this. Have you ever felt like food has power over you? Like no matter how hard you try, it feels like something deeper is pulling you back from the same behavior patterns, same cravings, and the same guilt. If you ever felt like that, that's what we're going to be talking about today. And I'm super excited because I have someone here that I truly respect that has a lot of background knowledge in this. And her name is Deb Kazilkin. And we're going to be really diving deep in this so you can understand why these things happen. You're going to learn about some strategies and how we can really go in a deeper level here so you can, again, reprogram your subconscious so you can be successful with this and feel good about yourself. And this is going to go beyond macros, meal plan, exercise, beyond motivation. Is going to go in a deeper level. So I'm super excited. I'm going to introduce you to Deb Kazilkin, and she's going to talk about a little bit about herself. So Deb, welcome to this little podcast. I'm so excited to have you here today.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm very excited that, this is the missing link when people are concerned about they believe they're doing everything right, but they self-sabotage.
Yep.
And so my background comes with holistic psychology and being a hypnotist, working with over 1,000 clients on many different avenues, a lot with having that stuck feeling of not losing weight or proceeding so far, but then something comes up and they let go of it. Um, so what I look for is the underlying core issue,
Okay.
which a lot of times we don't recognize because we're on autopilot.
Yep.
We're just going along. We don't recognize that a long time ago we made a connection with this emotion, this feeling, and then I would eat something and feel this temporary satisfaction, and then the wrath of that afterwards. So that's what I mainly work on, helping them find what that core issue is that they developed. It's generally a younger time. And once you shine a light on it, you can say, is that working for me? And you can make the change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because a lot of times we use food as a coping mechanism, right? And it's
Right.
like that, like you said, you got to find the underlying issue here instead of just going for that 5 second relief that the food will give you, that dopamine hit that's going to leave you feeling much worse afterwards because you didn't really address the deep cause there.
Right.
Um, and like, how much would you say that food obsession is emotional, is about as it is subconscious is programming in your mind?
Well, we have a lot of programming from the time we're 1 till 7 years old. That's where really our personality is developed. And we can develop coping skills that might have worked for us in that moment that don't work for us as adults. And what the power is that as an adult, we can decide if that is something we want to let go of. If that's something we want to change, we want to reframe, we want to make different. And that's where our power is.
Hmm. Do you feel like a lot of women think about that? Do you think they make that correlation? Like maybe this is like something that I learned as a child. Do you think when do they come to that realization, you think?
Usually, when people come to me for hypnosis, they've tried a lot of different things and they have a feeling it's something more. Like, why do I always go back to this
Hmm.
pattern? And so that's what hypnosis is, that you're quieting the mind, the critical mind, the talkative mind, and you get into a space where you're really connecting with your subconscious, and
Mm-hmm.
it comes about. It comes about, and it's an accelerating program because it helps you to get there in a safe environment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
I
mean,
remember, I'm sorry, go ahead.
we can have coping skills from biting our fingernails to all the different things, and they might have worked to comfort us in that moment. But what the power is, like I said, is now to say, is that working for me?
Mm-hmm.
And then you can change it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the autopilot, the not knowing, the just doing the same that keeps us stuck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I remember us talking about it one time, and you said that that programming happens in your childhood. Like, can you? I remember us talking about, like you said, sometimes the things that might have happened that you use food as something that made you feel good. Like you come home and there's no one home, you're gonna go for that food. Like, can you elaborate a little bit like that?
Um, so, so I've seen patterns in my clients with that was a big thing coming home from school, nobody's there. So they like sneak in the extra ring dings or doing this, and they feel empty inside. They're coming home empty, and it just is what it is at that time. But as a child, you had something, and for a moment, it made you feel good. That's an anchor.
Yep.
That's a connection to this feeling. And then when I do this, I get this feeling, and it anchors into your mind, into your body. Um, and so once you see those, you can break the patterns.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one, coming home from school. It can be other things where a parent was very critiquing to that person, a child, of don't eat that. You're going to get heavy. You know, you're
Mm-hmm.
already heavy. You know, you have to eat this. And they just get into this thing that they're not of value if they're not a certain way. And so when they start to lose, it's almost like a rebellion thing to say,
Okay.
I want to eat what I want to eat. And you know,
It's the other way
it goes
around. Uh-huh.
right.
It
So
backfires.
it's looking at those aspects that they're valuable to start out with and they're worthy. And that's why they want to eat the healthier foods and feel good and work out because they're already of value. And so they're
Mm-hmm.
just reassuring that they deserve to eat healthy foods and things like that versus someone kind of poking at them that you're not a value. That's why you have to be restrictive.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I think that's why it's so important sometimes to, not sometimes, I think it's really important to now, like obviously this audience is for women that's going to be watching this here, to show your children how to approach food the right way in terms of just like completely do the opposite, right? And
Right.
just like educate. It's not that this is you're gonna be you shouldn't be eating this because it's gonna make you this way. It's just like show them from the perspective like this is not gonna really nourish your body the right way. You can have maybe a little bit of this. You should have more of this because it's going to make you feel strong. It's going to make you feel powerful, as opposed of shaming that behavior, right?
Right, right, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It always works better when you're raising a child in any aspect of the shame just is not a good motivation. It's to show the positive, like your mind will be clearer, you'll have more energy for your for
Right.
school, for your, for the things you want to do. You recognize when you eat a bag of skillets and all the food color dye and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and you
Mm-hmm.
see the child
Mm-hmm.
gets hyper, and that's natural. That's a natural result of eating something that's not good. So we can teach them in a way that empowers them
Mm-hmm.
versus shaming based.
Mm-hmm. So, now, so you think that like a lot of times when women keep repeating these same food patterns, even when they really want to change, you think it's because of that root cause in childhood that they don't know how to break it?
Yes, so I see a lot of that. And I see them change when they start changing out of that shame um, kind of thought pattern. and seeing it as, oh wow, I'm doing this for me. I deserve to feel good in my body and put on
Mm-hmm.
clothes that make me feel good. Um, Having energy, having time for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we've been trained for women, especially when we're younger, to give, 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 and
Yes.
then you just have nothing left for yourself. So, yeah, changing those patterns that either society tells us or within the family unit or things like that. And not that they were necessarily trying to hurt us in any way. They might have learned the same patterns, but the power is as an adult, we get to say, do I still want to do that? Is that my belief system?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
So
And
you really
that's
think it's because that belief is not there, that self-worth is not there.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Or a belief that if I do something for myself, I'm being selfish and things like that. And once you shine a light on it, or even as you were talking about as a role model, showing your children that you get up and you exercise and you make your protein shake or whatever it is, they see you doing it, they start to form that like, oh, this is
This
this
is
is nat
good. Yeah.
this is natural, this is what we do, right?
Yeah.
um Instead of being sad and going, oh, I need some ice cream, and they see that too, we really have a lot of influence that we don't realize.
Yeah. Yeah. We think sometimes, and that's the thing that I always try to say. And even for myself, like I have young, my girls are going to be 13, and sometimes I catch myself doing something and I'm like, you don't think they see that? We all do it. And it's when
Right.
nobody's perfect, but it's whenever you catch yourself, it's that time, that self-teaching, right? And it's like, oops, I don't want them to do certain things in a certain way, or just sometimes you own it and you just self-correct. There's no problem there. But I think it's really important to understand that your children are watching. They
Yeah.
are copying you, no
Right.
matter what you think. It's easy to
Right.
say, to tell them what to do, as opposed to be the living example.
Exactly. They see you looking in the mirror. You smiling at yourself. You're like, oh my God, I look so bad today. Oh, these pants are so tight. Those things may be true in that moment in your mind, but you're like, yeah, I look a little tired today, but I still have
Yeah, I
this
can do
and that.
something.
Yeah, yeah,
Right?
exactly.
I'm gonna
Um,
take a shower. I'm gonna put a little makeup on. Gotta fix the
right.
problem.
Right. Self-correcting because we're always learning.
Yeah,
I'm 65. I'm still learning,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
it's all good. So at
Absolutely.
any moment, you can pivot into a different way,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
exactly. Own it and shake it off. I think it's like majority of the time we try to sweep it under the rug, thinking, they didn't notice, or maybe, but I don't, I see it like with my kids because sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, that's mini me right there, doing something, saying
Right.
something that I'm like, they didn't hear that. Oh, that's sure they did, and so I think that's why it's important for us women that we now are so becoming more aware that there's ways for you to break cycles. There's ways for you to, it doesn't matter what your age is. Like you say, you're 65 and you're like, I'm still learning, I'm still leveling it up. It's
Right.
never too late to change the direction that you have been on to a different pattern, to different uh life that you want. Never too late. you
Right.
know.
Exactly.
So when we talk about self-sabotage, because I see that a lot. Sometimes I see clients, being successful for a while and they kind of like they have some good success, and then all of a sudden there comes the self-sabotage. And I sometimes I try to really go to the deeper level to understand, why that's happening. And a lot of times I feel like is that subconscious try to protect them from, I don't know, feeling successful, or can you tell me what do you think that happens a lot? Like, I don't know if you, what is your experience with that?
So I've seen an array of different people having that self-sabotaging, and it can come from so many things. And one thing I've seen is that if they've been struggling since they were really young, of it's not something as they get older and other things are happening, but they've been struggling since they were young. And then I asked them, so if you woke up this morning and you were your ideal weight and you looked in
Hmm.
the mirror, what would your thoughts be? And I remember a lady telling me, I don't want men attracted to me.
Wow.
And as you go
Okay.
further, she has had abuse in her life,
Hmm.
but she never really connected the two.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
that's what I'm generally asking a lot of questions that are open and their own mind finds the answer.
Yeah.
And then from there, so how can you lose weight and still be safe,
Gotcha.
right? So then we work on that. So there's so many different
Mm.
things, but I have seen that where people have had that since they were a child of trying to lose the weight, or like,
Okay.
early teen, preteen.
So it could be self-worth, it could be self-protection from a terrible situation.
Right.
It can be there's so many layers when we
There
talk.
is. And that's why I prefer to do one-on-one sessions versus a group session. Group session, you can find things and you can ask open-end questions that people allow themselves to go in. But this takes it one step further. So how could you feel safe?
Yeah.
What could you do now in your life with the adult that you are?
Mm-hmm.
And what does that look like? Right. So it's pretty cool when you see people have that awe moment
Yeah.
and then decide that they don't want that anymore. They don't want that heaviness. They don't want the heaviness of the body. They want to let it go and they want to move forward. And
Yeah.
that's where their power is. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was just gonna say, like a lot of times I say, like, you're not broken, right? I think it's an important statement to say that because I feel like a lot of women feel like I'm just a failure. What's the point? I keep trying this over and over again. And that's why I'm so passionate about like really learning the layers and the fact about the food noise. The food noise term exists for a reason, right? It's
Right.
something that
Right.
if we really dig deep, this is where we're talking about here. Like we have gone through so many layers here. So when we talk about you're not broken, right? We're trying to say that you need to heal, right? The healing has to happen. And so what does that different approach look like from like your standpoint, the healing? Like obviously we've been talking here, but what is the difference between just going from just the diet to the healing point when we talk about not being broken?
Um, well, I've seen many people from all different um, range of income, of different circumstances, and it comes to accepting yourself,
Okay.
accepting that everyone does have struggles,
Yeah.
whatever. It might not be the same as yours, but everybody is trying to make it through this thing called life, right? So it's letting go of guilt, shame, sadness, anger, all anger at ourselves, it's coming to a point of acceptance of that was then and this is now. I'm going this way, right? That's where the healing really starts to take place.
That's a great analogy. And also the term of comparing yourself to others, right? I think
Right,
comparison is the killer of dreams because sometimes you're
right,
comparing your chapter one with someone's chapter 20,
exactly. Yeah.
and it's impossible for you to get there if you don't start the work from like and it's the work is going to take time. And why do you think some people actually avoid this type of work?
Because that's what they did back then. They
Mhm.
avoided it with the food,
The food,
the
not being
alcohol, the cigarette smoking. They avoided it. And to think about addressing it feels painful,
hurt.
feels like, do I want to open that can of worms?
Yep.
But what happens in hypnosis is that we're talking to the subconscious. So you're in a calm state, almost feeling like meditation. And when you see it as an observer. So you have some distance from the trauma or from the incident or from that feeling. And so you can be more of an observer and see yourself as an adult looking at it. And you see some of the players around you that maybe they had some issues.
Mm-hmm.
And really, you might be an actually good person. You probably are. It's just people around you were saying this or doing this and that. And then you don't have to own that. That's
Mm-hmm.
on them. You are a little child.
Right.
But now, as an adult, you get to decide what you do with that information. So some people are afraid to look at it because they're afraid it's going to be very painful. But
Mm-hmm.
in hypnosis, it's an accelerating thing that you're addressing right to the subconscious, which is
Mm-hmm.
what's really cool about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a very positive experience. And when you leave, you feel either neutral or you feel really good. And
Mm-hmm.
no one ever left my office going, oh my God,
Yeah. I feel terrible.
I feel so open and vulnerable and now I have to go to work. No, there's a closure to it. There's a strength to it when you,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. And can you explain to our audience here, like when we talk about subconscious, like why is hypnosis so powerful when we talk about the subconscious, right? Why is it easier to do it that way as opposed to when you are on a conscious mind?
Because you've already tried it on a conscious mind. You're already trying it, trying to think your way out of it. And that's like willpower too, right? It's thinking, well, I should have this willpower. I should be able to do it. And then you beat yourself up. We're letting go of the critical factor, the critical mind that this is not going to work. It never worked before. All that self
Mhm.
talk is that we're coming to a very meditative state, a
Yeah,
very calm state. And that opens your subconscious mind to the suggestions based on what you want,
right. And
right?
just like we said before, remember I was talking to you about the movie and I forgot the name of the movie. That there's a line that says your best therapist is the advice that you give to yourself, like when you are with a clear thinking, because you're the only
Exactly.
person that can listen to is you.
Right. You know yourself.
Yep.
And there are outside sources that can teach you, educate
Right.
you, fine-tune things. In the end, it's coming back to yourself and releasing the shame, the guilt, the all of that, and coming
Mm-hmm.
back to a place of acceptance
Yeah.
and then moving forward, right?
Mm-hmm. And especially like I like to like we have worked together with clients that we kind of have collaborated together in terms of showing them that is because a lot of times we, like the beginning of this podcast we started saying, a lot of women think that to be able to be successful at this, they have to punish their body, they have to restrict to matters that are not going to be sustainable. And I think that's the cycle again, right? That comes into like I restrict, I punish, and then go back and unsuccessful again. That's even another story to talk about here. But with us working together, which I think is super powerful, is because we are telling the subconscious that what we are doing is something positive. It's not that punishment, that thing that comes from childhood, like, no, you cannot eat that food. It's not, it's
Right.
forbidden, right? So can you tell the women that are watching this right now, how is the way that we work together can be beneficial, talking about the that subconscious level, how we can integrate hypnosis in that term.
So yeah, it's shifting from the punishment and that not neutral, but negative motivation. Because once you get to where you are successful, you don't have the motivation anymore. If you don't have the shame, the negative, right? You've achieved it. So then you start shaking and you start going back down. Um, so what we're doing together is I'm reinforcing that those good foods are making them feel good, that they are totally in charge, that they have choice.
Yeah.
Everybody wants choice, right? And
Hmm.
so if you have a choice of, oh, if I eat this, then I'm and I have a choice of things to eat, or
Hmm.
when I'm in at family functions or this or that, right? That it's coming from a place of loving yourself
Yep.
versus a place of, oh, I can't, and all that. Yeah,
Yeah, because I think that's again, like when we talk about moms and telling their daughters, like they see, like whenever you are going through a transformation, right? Because this should become your lifestyle. Like you're gonna have to find a happy medium that you can incorporate things that you like. You get to a point that it's just your life. You have control. Just like we talk about medication, you're not gonna overdose on the medication. You have the right amounts for you. Same thing for foods. You
right,
can get to that place, right? So it's the same thing for your family, like whenever you are going through a process of fat loss or whatever it is that you are in that phase of your fitness journey, that you have to show as a positive thing, right? Not showing that you're suffering. I'm just eating detox food and starving myself, because that's terrible. Like, who wants that? It's not a good relationship with food either to show that kind of style to your kids. That's how you lose weight. They're going to say, no
right,
way, I'm not going to do that. Like, mommy's suffering, she's miserable, so we need to find something that you enjoy that's like you can eat with the whole family and everybody enjoys,
right.
right? Different
And
mindset.
and that's something I work on too with the tribe around them, because sometimes when you're becoming your best, other people feel threatened, and it has nothing to do with you. It has to do with,
Yeah.
well, if she can lose weight and if she's looking great, then what does that say about myself not doing it? So they, oh, you want your favorite ice cream? I brought it home for
Right.
you. Do you,
Yeah.
these little things, and they don't necessarily mean like they're trying consciously to say, oh, I want you to still, but they do it because they feel like it's a light shining on them. If she can do it, then what does it say about me not doing it? And that's their own issue to work with. You still do you,
Exactly. And
right?
those are the sabotagers.
Those are the sabotages, but
Yeah.
sometimes those sabotages turn around and go, wait a minute, what are you doing?
Right.
Right? So
Yeah.
you just keep doing you, and sometimes it has a ripple
Oh,
effect
yeah.
where after a while that other people go, wait a minute,
It's lovely when that happens. I
right?
love that.
Right? But
Seen so many times.
at first it might be the resistance
Yes.
from people around you. Really? Like you can't eat this? Or,
Hmm.
like, oh, I have to have Chinese food, or that's good. Then you have that,
Yeah. Hmm.
you just do you, and you do the best you, and it has that ripple effect of other people wanting, like, oh, I want that energy. I want that type of thing too. So,
Hmm. So is that something that you also kind of help ingrain in their
yes,
subconscious in terms of like the psychological level of like the mindset of like, nope, the woman that does this, like we have to embed that identity. Like I always say, like if you are doing this, you have to embed that identity of a fit woman. What does that fit woman does,
right.
right? So no
What
matter
does that
what,
look like? What does that look like to you? What does that feel like to you? And you
right?
encompass that, right?
Hmm.
And know that I used to have a list on the refrigerator for people, like, their best intentions is to walk every day. Now it's a nice storm and everything. But what's plan B? What's
Yes,
plan C?
I
Oh, the
love
kids
that.
have school off today. What's plan B? I can go on the treadmill. I can
Yeah.
do this. So the knowing that life obstacles will come up, but you already have in your mind what you're going to do next,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So you stay on track.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's one of those things I always say, like it's impossible for you to hate your way into a body that you love. You know,
Exactly.
once you
Exactly.
learn that you love the way that you look, the way that you feel, that's where the self-sabotage is going to be less and less and less,
Yes. Yes.
right? Because that rejection of like feeling good and again, it's deep work. And I feel like the more that we talked about it here, the more I can kind of clearly see why there's so many people that struggle with this. And I really, that's why I like to bring this awareness because sometimes it just clicks. It's like, oh, but I can't
Yep.
be locked in this body forever because of things that have happened in the past. But there's hope. Like you're just telling me right now that we can rewire our brain. to
Exactly.
level up to the point to the point that you're going to erase those patterns.
Right. Right. Exactly.
And how long do you think it usually takes for someone to kind of rewire those old patterns?
Um, I mean, generally, the very first session, they're already having an awe moment of what was the hidden shame or self-negative talk that they didn't even know was there.
Mm,
Um, but generally, my weight loss, healthy living is 4 session program because it kind of backs off of each other. Where we're working on this and that's all going great, but this pops up right from underneath. Okay, so we're going to tackle that now, right?
hmm.
And it's usually within a 6 week time.
Yeah.
And I do the recordings of the hypnosis itself, and they listen to that in between the sessions as reinforcement on the change they already made.
And it's good to do that like daily. Would you say it's good to listen to
I
that?
just ask them listen 2 to 3 times until we meet again,
Okay.
right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
That's that powerful.
yeah.
That's
And
amazing.
the change already happened during the hypnosis session. This is just a reinforcement.
Reinforcement. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
All right. And now, like, what is something like real practice steps if someone like starting to think about this that they can start doing to interrupt like sometimes the self-sabotage behaviors or habits that are going to be to reach for that food or to like, can you give us a little bit of like some pointers here?
So some things they can do well, the first thing is awareness. So if they have that feeling like, or that dialogue, why can't I have this? I want to write this all
Right.
down in a journal.
Right.
And you can even write down, when's the first time I ever felt like this? Where I wanted that, but why can't I have that? And you'll go to the actual event that
Mm-hmm.
springed off on this, in which I also teach tapping. So you're tapping on acupuncture points and moving the energy that got stuck a long time ago. So you can imagine a child that's upset, they usually generally not allowed to talk back, right? And say blah, blah, blah. So they lose their voice. They keep it stuffed down, stuffed down. It becomes layers of that. And maybe they don't want to feel that, so they cap it off with food. Um, so what we're doing is opening that and feeling that. So what they can do now, even
Mm-hmm.
without hypnosis, is
Mm-hmm.
to start journaling what emotions are coming up, what is the inner dialogue.
Yeah.
And that awareness is starting to give them that time. Take a deep breath in and out and go, how am I going to feel 30 minutes from now?
Right.
If you go and you eat that, how are you going to feel 30 minutes from now?
Mm-hmm.
So those type of things you ask yourself, the journaling will help you to bring up what's the underlining and what are you telling yourself about the food. That's like you said, the food noise,
Yeah.
right?
Because it's just easy for that quick 5 second dopamine hit, right? It's just you got to learn to break the behavior. It's going to take repetition, right? The awareness and the repetition of like, nope, every time I feel that, I'm going to journal or maybe go
Right.
for a walk outside. Like sometimes
Go
it's
for a walk,
5 minutes, 10
break,
minutes. Hmm.
break um, that emotion right there, break it open and go, okay, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take a breath. Some people tap right here below the collarbones and
Hmm.
just talk it out. Just
Yeah.
talk it out, all the stuff that's coming up, and they'll feel themselves calming down. And then they end on a positive, like, I'm doing great. I
Yeah.
really don't need that at all. I'm
Yeah.
staying on track. I feel good. I deserve to feel healthy, right?
Yeah, it's amazing to to see like how the negative self-talk can be terrible for
Right,
everything. Like sometimes, like I'm really into mindset and I really believe in mindset to be like that's the ruler of a lot of success. And it's like I always tell my clients like you have to brainwash yourself that you are capable, that you are unstoppable, and that's it. Just you have to bring like the same way that we talk bad about herself sometimes. Like we need to stop with that and we do the other way around to be like sometimes delusional in a
Well,
good
it's
way.
reframing it, right? Um, and that's a huge thing I teach people to reframing. Like if they hear um, the word not and no, it really, you don't want to use that in your reframing. If you hear like, oh, I can't have that,
Hmm.
it makes me fat and stuff. Reframing, I like healthy food. It
I'm
makes me
making a
feel
choice.
good.
Yeah.
I'm always in control. I have the choice, and
Yeah.
I'm choosing to feel healthy and feel
Right.
great.
Yeah.
So that's reframing that,
Totally.
but you got to catch the negative. You got to
Yeah.
catch it. And I've caught it with myself even around other issues, and I just find it very amazing that that was there, and I didn't even know it. So it
Hmm.
gives you that chance to reframe it and go,
Yeah.
wait a minute, is that really true, or did I hear that when
Yeah.
I was a child? So
Very interesting. Yeah, because I think mindset, it's like your brain doesn't really know. I was listening to this podcast that I really like, The Mindset Mentor, and he talks about your brain doesn't really know the difference, believe it or not, between excitement and when you're scared. It's an emotion that we kind of like, we designated the way that we kind of talk. So, and I would use myself as an example here, like to speak in public, I used to be terrified of it, you know? And you were just there at the Women's in Business, and I was like kind of getting nervous prior to it, and I was listening to the podcast, and he was saying, when you have something like this, speaking in public, you're gonna say, "I am excited about it." Like you keep saying that the days before, I am excited about this instead of like, "Oh my God, I'm so scared." And that's a completely different mindset. And I was so calm, I was, and even the day I'm like, "Whoop, I'm excited about it."
you looked very calm, and you were talking from your heart and your
Yeah.
knowledge, and it just flowed very easily for you, or at
So
least from observation, right?
thank you. So it was a different mindset because I could have been like, I'm nervous and I'm terrified. And I'm like, nope, I'm excited about it. This is going to be great. I'm going to speak. And after a few hours, it's going to be over and it's going to be awesome. I'm going to be creating a great impact. Completely shift the mindset. It kind of calmed the nerves and, I believed in that. As opposed of kept in believing that I was nervous. I'm like, no, it's not even an issue, you know?
And the place in the brain that has excitement, that can see it lighting up, is the exact same place
Right.
of anxiety. So if you feel those feelings, it's okay to feel them and acknowledge them, and then you reframe them without
Reframing.
judgment. Like, oh, I'm feeling so. Well, I thought I had this all done, and now I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that, but it's also excitement.
Yes.
And I can't wait to go out and
Right.
tell everybody and share with them this information. It's so powerful. Shifting that, yeah, that's all reframing and shifting. Yeah,
Yeah, because I
rewiring.
was just gonna say that. Like I was gonna say, what's the mindset shift? Who truly transform those who want to evolve to those that stay stuck? Would you say that's that?
I would say that it's first awareness, recognizing our self-dialogue, our self-talk, and then just even you can even thank your body because it was there for a reason for some time in your life, right? So, oh, thank you without judgment, because then you're in that cycle. So there it is, and reframe it in a positive statement, right? That anybody can do that. Anybody can do
That's
that.
such a powerful tool. It really is such a
Yeah.
powerful tool. And also sometimes you just have to really kind of put yourself like look for other people that are also positive, right? Because I think that's really hard sometimes, and I think that's another conversation. But like I think like a lot of people sometimes they get stuck because the sabotageurs that don't allow them to move forward, or because they keep listening to the negative talk that the outsiders are saying. So I feel like whenever you have a chance to have somebody helping you, that's why obviously I'm talking to you right now because you are somebody that they can go to that will help them to get to that place that will make them that will be able to make them strong, right? So they can be like that powerhouse and no matter what, I'm going to do this. But also, if you have a chance to find somebody outside of professional help, make that your tribe. Sometimes
Yeah,
you have to break those cycles that keep you stuck there because it's
right.
so easy to kind of get caught up on that circle of people that are just like, and I don't want to sound this way, but they're just staying small and you want to grow outside that circle.
And the thing is, when you start recognizing your own self-dialogue, your own self-talk, is that you'll recognize it around your circle too. And
Yes.
and then you can decide, is this something I want to be
Yes.
fed information, that negativity all the time? And some of those things will fade away. Those relationships that before you might have been powwowing with them in the
Mhm.
negativity, and you just don't feel like doing it anymore, and that's okay. That's just change,
Yeah.
right?
And another thing that I was gonna ask here, like, do you feel like a lot of people feel scared to be alone because of that healing that sometimes they might end up with less friends or just to be with them themselves? Like I find that a lot of women have that hard time of like they use food for numbing, right? The food noise comes for numbing. Same thing with the alcohol and everything else. Do you think it's because they don't want to be within themselves? It's too painful.
So yeah, they might have learned those habits that it wasn't good to go there. One, they might have not been heard when they spoke, and so,
Yeah.
oh, you don't feel like that. Oh,
Mhm.
don't talk like that. That's all the more reason to go to that space. And you can journal. You're connecting with yourself probably like you haven't in years and years and years. And though there may be crusty of feeling uneasy about it, it also brings out like,
A
wow,
beautiful
your
part of it.
radiance, your
Yeah.
shine, you're shining your true self that was stuffed a long time ago. And then you felt it was safer to keep it capped off. Once
Hmm.
they open that, there is that crusty feeling around it. Once they connect to themselves, the changes I've seen that have
Mm.
nothing to even do with weight.
Yeah.
They're like all of a
Yeah.
sudden doing this, and I think I'm going
Hmm.
to go back to school. And yeah, it's like it just opens
It
so much
does.
beauty that was capped off too.
It
Mm.
does. I'm so glad you said that because that's what I'm like really passionate about. And that's why, like, I always say it's beyond the aesthetics. Everything that we do here is just to bring that power back. Like, the reality is like we are all born before we were programmed, just like a computer, right? Playing, and you were brought to this world, you had the like your dreams and everything else, but you got programmed. Just like a computer comes playing, but then it gets programmed with Google and everything else. You got programmed with your parents, teachers, friends, others, and
Society
society, and it
about
made
what
you
women's
small.
roles are.
Yeah, it made
Yeah,
you small. And then sometimes everything that hurt in your life, kind of like you use food for numbing and everything else, and it got you to a place that you are not happy with. And then you have to go back. And thank goodness for what you do for all that, because we can go back and rewire ourselves to become the person that we are meant to be.
right, right. We can come off of autopilot, have
Hmm.
that awareness, and then make that decision. Is that true for me today?
Yeah.
And what do I want to do about that?
Hmm.
And that's where your power comes.
Yeah. Because it's so sad sometimes I see that a lot of times, and that's why I encourage them to find this type of help, to find hypnosis, because they don't even know why they keep self-sabotaging. And it's like, you have to go back layers and layers. That's exactly what you do to really find that deep cause. I'm like, wow, I didn't even think that was it.
Yeah,
And it was like, oh, my brother talked bad about me when I was this, or they called me this, or somebody did that, and it's like, wow. And that has stuck to me for 40 something years.
right, right. And do I want to carry that further?
Right.
Or I want to let this go?
Yeah, amazing. So, Deb, if a woman is listening today that feels stuck, frustrated, or ashamed, what would you say to her today?
I would say, are you ready to make a change? It's really up to you. It's all in your hands.
Yeah.
And there's different avenues for that. Um, and I really enjoy the hypnosis, the tapping, journaling, all those things that will open you up to seeing the truth of what you've been hiding, that awareness, and then you can make the choice to what you want to do with that going forward. It's
Hmm.
so cool that we can make choices
I know.
as we go forward, no matter what happened to us before,
You hold the
right?
pen. You hold the pen in your hand to write your own
Yeah,
story.
right.
You really do.
Write a new chapter.
Yes, exactly. Fold the page,
Yep.
turn the page and go to the next one. It's okay, and find your
It-
worth. Like really understand that you are worthy. Like a lot of times I ask women, like whenever I have a consult, I say, do you believe that you are worthy of this?
yeah,
'Cause sometimes they don't feel like they are. And I say, you are worthy. You are worth it. You have to understand that you also, like you take care of everybody else. How about you? We can't
right.
pour out of an empty cup.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
And what do you think is the most powerful belief? Actually, I think we just answered that question that a woman can adopt to start transforming herself today.
If they're stuck on that old pattern, to say that that was then, this is now,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's powerful. And so, would you say that's the most like subconscious truth that a woman needs to unlearn before they can succeed?
They don't, yeah, to see their patterns is uh, the most place where you're going to make change. Coming off of autopilot, shining the light, the awareness. That's the first thing you learn in hypnosis is awareness. Because some people can stand there and just eat out of a bag and, oh, I ate that much, right? Or a bowl in front of the TV. It distracted. Your mind doesn't even know how that you're already full. So it's coming off of all those autopilots, things that we do. And then we can decide if we want to still do that or if we want to make a change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, because I think it's just, for me, it's really important. Like whenever I work with somebody, I give them the tools that they can learn for a lifetime. That's
Right,
why I'm not a big advocate for restrictive approaches that you remove something completely and then it's like, okay, if we talked about weight loss here, you lost the weight, but now what? And we talked about like not bringing up any names, but like we talked about like another hypnosis thing that, oh, we just do this restrict, restrict, restrict. You can't even look at something sweet and do this. And then whenever you come off it, it's like, okay, so I think for us, it's important to really heal from the deep root of things, learn the habits, and establish them for life. Just
right,
something
right.
that you can live forever like this. It's freedom,
Yes.
you know?
We all want freedom, right? Freedom
Hmm.
of choice,
Yeah,
freedom of feeling good in our body, of living the life we want to live.
yeah. We all deserve that. That's feeling worthy right there. That's not no more self-sabotage. We're done with that.
Mm.
All right, Deb. So where can we find you if we want to contact you? What's the best way to contact you?
So they can, well,
I can put the
I
email here.
yeah, so you can contact me by email, phone. We can do a Zoom to see where you're at and where you want to go, and about the program itself. I'm doing a lot of virtual clients at this point,
That's great.
but I do have a place I can bring someone if they really want to be in person. But
Okay.
you can do hypnosis in people's homes. They tend to go into hypnosis deeper because they're in their own environment. As long as, like the pets and stuff and any distractions are out of the way, they tend to go to hypnosis very deeply because really, if you close your eyes, doesn't matter if you're in my office or in your home, right? So the virtual works really well, especially for people that can't get out and things like that or live far away.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So I will post your information here below this video and yeah, so everybody can contact you if they're interested. But I would strongly encourage you to do so because I think it's a very powerful tool to utilize for you to sustain this as a lifestyle.
All right. Thanks so
All right,
much for
thanks for
having
being
me.
here.